And we are back. What's going on, guys? I updated this on my social media on Instagram, but basically, your boy's fucking up, right, on the pod. So it's a, dude, editing and doing all this shit is so like it's such a process, man. So basically, what I had to do was so I recorded through audio for the camera. I recorded through video. Video and audio through the camera. I recorded through audio through the computer, right? Through the mixer, etc. So there's two different platforms. So I have to then edit it on Premiere Pro. So I have to edit on Premiere Pro. After editing on Premiere Pro, you're merging the audio that's currently on a computer with the mixer and the mic versus the video that's currently happening on the screen. So I have to like synchronize both of them, which is pain in the ass, edit it, etc. So I would just take the audio that I do for the mixer, the microphone, etc., and post it on to Acast so that it goes out to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. But I do all that editing to that audio within Premiere Pro to align the video and audio, right? So I completely forgot I have to edit the actual audio for the mixer, this just standalone, so that I can post it onto Acast. So literally, I was just posting the raw, unedited audio onto freaking Acast and Spotify, and you had like the check 1 2 1 2 bullshit that was happening. Like me just checking audio, checking visual, checking all that shit. So just me tweaking, and I didn't even realize it till last week. So definitely moving forward, that's not going to be happening. So if that was pissing you off the first couple of times you listen to it, my bad. Now the only issue is I don't have those audios anymore. So after editing everything, posting it, and then merging the audio and visual and having that as one format, there's no way to just extract the audio anymore. The audio is deleted and it's gone. So there's no way for me to go back and even edit those previous episodes. So I'm fucked for the last 11 episodes. I am fucked. So I haven't went back and listened to them, to be honest with you, because I hate hearing my own voice. But I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna listen to it, and I'm just gonna be upset at myself, to be honest with you. There's no going back now. This is a learning process. So if you're listening and you continue listening through all that, you know, bullshit and checking audio and that kind of stuff, dude, shout out to you. But yeah, it's not going to be something moving forward. So definitely when I start like highlighting specific episodes for people to listen to, probably not those first couple episodes. If you found it funny, cool, fuck it. It's part of the character, it's part of the cast, it is what it is. But I'm not here to talk about editing and the how to podcast essentially. So basically, I made a year in Philly. So I'm a born and raised New Yorker. I moved to Philly a year ago, and it's been a really cool year, man. Like I've been enjoying Philly a lot. I think Philly gets like a lot of people talk bad about Philly. Some of it's deserving, some of it's undeserving, but my year here has been amazing. And I just wanted to highlight like my year here, like me coming into Philly, the things to do in Philly, the highlights of Philly, the things I don't like about Philly, how it could change or it could be better. So I just want to talk about that first year wrap up in Philly for this episode. So to start it from the top, I actually never been to Philly until literally like 2 years ago. Yeah, roughly like I would say 3 years ago. It's the first time I came to Philly. So I had no motivation to even come to Philly. I had I didn't have an expectation of Philly either. So I didn't like have a certain notion of what Philly is like in my mind. Like I didn't hear any good about it, didn't hear any bad about it. Literally, I had no influence whatsoever. So my older brother moved to Philly because his fiance's family, she's from Philly, so they're trying to be closer to her family because of the baby. 100% makes sense. My brother likes to move around a lot. Like we both like to move around a lot. But he likes to go he likes to move hours away from where he just previously lived. So he's that kind of person. Whereas in me, I just jump from different apartment to apartment in New York. So yeah, he moved to Philly for the baby and his fiance's family, and he was like, yo, you got to come visit, got to come visit, got to come visit. I was just like, man, I've never been to Philly, so fuck it, I'm just going to go. So I went for the first time in 2023. I want to say it was like September 2023, right? So I get here, and immediately the first thing that I see, yo, there's no Hispanic people. And I'm Puerto Rican. I'm from New York. Like, yo, like everyone's Hispanic in New York, basically. Like, you see more Hispanics than anything else, you know? Like, it's just like, literally, I'm not joking you. If I'm just walking through Manhattan, at any given moment, if I look left or right, I'm going to see like 10 Hispanic people. Where I lived in Queens, same thing. There's a lot of Hispanic people. So going to somewhere that I like, I'm seeing, I don't want to say my people because, we're not necessarily the same ethnicity, and through the different regions in Latin America, like your genetic makeup is entirely different, but whatever, my people. So from going somewhere that I'm seeing my people to going somewhere that I'm not seeing any one of my people was kind of like crazy to me. And still being within the same country and not even being that far away. It's only like 2 hours away through bus or through driving like an hour and a half by train. So that was alarming. I was like, yo, where the fuck are the Latin people at? Like, there's no Latinos here. It's just straight up, it's either white or black, which is not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. But it's something that like was culturally shocking to me at first. So at first, my brother literally took me on a tour throughout the entire city. We walked like, I'm not even kidding you, probably like 5 miles, bro. We seen the entire city, which the one cool thing about Philly is that it's very walkable. I think Philly was voted like the most walkable city in the U.S. outside of like fucking New York City, Manhattan, of course. But you can literally walk all of Philly in a day. No exaggeration. You cannot do that in New York City. Like, New York City is too big to do that. But in Philly, you can literally walk from the left side of Philly to the right, the east to the west in a day. And that's literally what we did. We just saw all of the sights. So as soon as we got there, we grabbed some bite to eat at the Philly market, which is just like, basically it's like within like a little mall, and it's just like nonstop food vendors everywhere, like literally food as far as the eye can see. So if you have a preference for food or for dessert or whatever, you can find it within that market. Like, it's pretty packed too. So we get there, we got some food. Food was good, and we're just walking through the city, man. Like, where I forgot where we stopped at first. So I'm just gonna highlight like the different places that we went to. So first we walked through like Market Street. On Market Street, you can see like City Hall. The City Hall is beautiful. City Hall in Philly, it's by far like the best looking city hall or like historical building probably I've ever seen in my entire life. No exaggeration. So it's around 500 feet tall, which actually up until like the 70s, no building was like regulated to be higher than City Hall. City Hall was the highest building within Philly up until like literally 50 years ago when people started building skyscrapers. The skyline for Philly is also pretty good. I'm not going to lie. You can't compare it to New York. You really can't compare anywhere skyline to New York for exception of like Shanghai. But Philly skyline, man, is not bad. Like, you got a few skyscrapers. You have City Hall, which is beautiful. So the skyline as itself is pretty solid in my opinion. So we're walking through Market Street, see City Hall. We're looking at City Hall. We venture through City Hall, etc. So we're just walking around City Hall, which is really cool. Then we hit Love Park. Love Park is literally right across the street from City Hall. People know Love Park by like, there's like this little thing where it says love, and you take pictures underneath it. It's pretty popular like tourist spot for pictures. We are by still within Center City. We go to like the Liberty Bell, so we check that out. I think it's called the Liberty Center, and like for gift shops and that kind of shit. So we're checking that out as well. We venture to his favorite neighborhood, which is Society Hill. Society Hill is really cool. I would say it gives me like a Brooklyn Heights kind of vibe. If you're familiar with New York City, so like the theme and the look and like that kind of vibe of Brooklyn Heights is the same as Society Hill. Especially like some of the layout of the buildings. Like, a lot of it's like a townhouses. If you're like familiar with townhouses in New York City, that's basically how it's going to look like in Society Hill. So we're walking through that area, which is pretty cool. We walk through the boardwalk there, which is cool, which is pretty similar to like the West Side Piers or like the boardwalk for Brooklyn Heights. So we're walking through all that. We go to the art museum. We're looking at the art museum. We do go inside, but we're walking through all that as well. Then we cut through to the it's on the it's on the west. We cut to the east side, which is like one giant pier, which is similar to like the west side piers in New York City. So we cut through to the east side. We're walking through those piers, and I think that and we go to the stadium complex. We're looking at the different stadiums. The cool thing about Philly is that all the stadiums are in one place. That's so fucking convenient, for the exception of the Philadelphia Union, which I'm wearing right now. So everything is in one space. So if you want to see a basketball game, a football game, a hockey game, like a baseball game, everything is in one space, which is so cool, man. And it's you could take the transit there, like it's in the middle of the city, you know. In New York, you have to go all the way to the fucking Bronx to see the Yankees play, or you have to go deep into Queens to see the Mets play, or you have to go into fucking Jersey to see the Giants or the Jets play. So having everything in one space is really cool. And yeah, we saw that portion of Philly. We go back up, and then he currently lives in the suburbs, so he went to the suburbs. We also went to. I was there for the weekend essentially, so we went up the Rocky Steps. I ran up the Rocky Steps, which are fucking long as shit. Ran back down. We go to a Phillies game, and it was actually Phillies versus the Mets. The Mets won like 7-2, but that was the year that the Phillies went to the World Series. So they had the last laugh at the end of the day. But the Phillies game was pretty cool, man. I would say as far as like a sporting atmosphere goes, Phillies games are probably one of the best out there. I gotta be entirely honest with you. Like last season for the Mets, the atmosphere has gotten better, but historically, man, like growing up a Mets fan, going to freaking Shea Stadium and Citi Field my whole life, Mets games have historically been pretty boring. Like they're not as rowdy as the Yankees fans, thank God, but they don't have that kind of passion or bring that kind of energy. Maybe because all we do is fucking lose. But yeah, Phillies game is more lively. People are more engaged. Like probably the best sporting event, like or the best like atmosphere for a sporting event ever been to is probably a Phillies game. I'm not gonna lie to you, not that specific game, but like another Phillies game, which is pretty cool. But yeah, the stadium was pretty cool. I forgot the name of the stadium, to be honest with you. Is it Liberty Park? No, that's for the Eagles. Anyway, listen, it don't matter. I'm not a Phillies fan anyway. So yeah, we went there. It was pretty dope, and then I came back. So my first initial impression of Philly, that first time going, I didn't exactly love it. I got to be honest with you. For some reason, I just didn't love it. Maybe because like I was I was born and raised New Yorker. I was comparing it to New York, basically. What you can't do. If you're a New Yorker and you come to Philly, you cannot compare Philly to New York. New York is like an S-rank city, essentially. Like New York is widely regarded throughout the world. The only cities you can compare to New York, to be honest with you, are like Shanghai, Tokyo, Paris, London, like those kind of world-renowned cities. And that's not because I'm a New Yorker, it's because like that's just how like literally everything is in New York, man. Like every single movie is set in New York. Like New York is like basically runs the world, no exaggeration. So those are the only kind of cities you can compare to New York. You can't compare Philly to New York. Philly's like a B-rank city. So you can compare Philly to like Charlotte, North Carolina, or you can compare a city to like Sacramento or like San Diego or like those kind of cities, but you can't compare Philly to New York, which was my biggest issue. I was just comparing everything to New York. I was like, yo, this is cool, but like it's not New York. This is cool, but like it's not New York. Or New York does this better, or New York has this better, which was like the wrong mindset to have. I should have just been enjoying my time there and soaking in the city. So my first time around when I went there, I wasn't the biggest fan of Philly, to be entirely honest with you. I went there again literally like a year later, and I had a far better impression of Philly because I was just looking at Philly for what it is and not comparing it to New York. So I was soaking in, and the one thing that I really liked about Philly was that it still kept its culture. New York is kind of doing away with a lot of like its old architecture. So like everything is new in New York. All the buildings are bland, all these modern buildings are so boring. Whereas in Philly, it still retains a lot of its like old architecture, especially like throughout the neighborhoods. Like a lot of those buildings have been around for God knows how long, literally hundreds of years. I'm not even exaggerating. There's some houses there that have been around since like the 1600s, and people still live in them. The same families still live in them, which is insane. So it still retains its culture. Not only that, the one thing that I liked about Philly my second time coming as well is, of course, how walkable it is. Like, you could literally walk the entire city, which as a New Yorker, being so accustomed to walking and taking transit, that makes me feel right at home. And also the sports culture in Philly as a whole. So Philly is really, really big into their teams, like they're really big into, the Phillies, the Sixers, not so much. The Flyers, same as the Sixers, I would say. The Eagles, especially, like Philly goes hard for the Eagles, man. Like, well, you have to pick the one team that Philly goes hard for the most. From my observation, it's the Eagles. Like, Philly goes crazy for the fucking Eagles, bro. Like, when it's football season, everyone is wearing green. Like, everyone's just straight up wearing green, you know? Just straight out Eagles gear. Eagle hats, Eagle jerseys, you name it. Sweaters, you name it. So they go hard for the Eagles. And that's across all races. Like, it'd be white dudes going hard for the Eagles, black dudes going hard for the Eagles, fucking Asian people going hard for the Eagles, Latinos going hard for the Eagles. Everyone's going hard for the Eagles in Philly, man. Which, I'm not a football person, American football person, but in New York, that's not the case. Like, New York doesn't go hard for their teams, for the exception of like maybe the Yankees, to be honest with you. But I just think that New York has so much to offer that the sports kind of get watered down, because you can do fucking anything in New York City. Literally, you could, if you want to do something, if you wanted to do something and you're in New York City, you can basically do it. Essentially, you could find a way to do it, which Philly doesn't have as much to offer as New York City naturally. So they really center around their sports team, and they go hard for their teams. Win or lose, they go hard for the teams, which is really cool to see because I am a sports person. So my first year in Philly, honestly, it's just been like nonstop sporting things related, specifically soccer. I went to an Eagles game. I don't like Liberty Park, I'm going to be honest with you. It's very congested and are packed. Um, I don't care for American football either, so I didn't really care for that. Went to the Phillies game. Phillies game was cool. Went to a Flyers game. Flyers game was pretty cool as well. Um, the Wells Fargo Center is actually really dope, to be honest with you. It's probably like my favorite arena, if you will, comparing that to like MSG or Barclays. But the Wells Fargo Center is cool. I didn't go to a Sixers game. That's the one sporting event I haven't went to yet. I don't really care for basketball either. I'll go just to say I go, and it's only like $1 for tickets anyway. So if it's only $1, fuck it, I'll check it out. That's something I guess I can do. But I haven't been to that game yet. But I'm familiar with the arena already. They also play in the Wells Fargo Center. And I've been to like a million Union games, bro. So many Philadelphia Union games, which Philadelphia Union doesn't play within the city. It's the only fucking team that doesn't play within the city. They play in Chester, PA, which is like, I'm trying to compare Chester, PA to like New York terms. Chester is like Brownsville, basically. If you're familiar with Brownsville and New York City and Brooklyn, Chester, PA is basically that. No exaggeration. Like, it's ghetto as fuck. It only has, basically, you're only going to go to a Union game and that's it. The stadium in and of itself is beautiful. The view is beautiful. It's just in the fucking worst place possible, which that just happens to be a lot of sporting venues, to be honest with you, because that shit takes up a lot of space, and you're gonna build on wherever city and or town gives you the lane to build on. So yeah, I've been to a million and plus Union games. I'm going to one today. If they lose, I swear to God, I'm not going to another game for like the remainder of the season, because it's a U.S. Open Cup match against a super small team that we should beat. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, yeah, that first year encompassed like a lot of sports. A lot of sports. Like, I was constantly playing soccer, started playing for a new team, which was pretty cool. Played 11s, doing all that stuff. Played 7s as well with that team as well. Going throughout like the different neighborhoods in Philly to play soccer because the games always be in the middle of fucking nowhere. In hindsight, was cool. During that process, kind of sucked. Not gonna lie. Um, you know, of course, like been working out nonstop as well. Which like the gyms in Philly are so much better than gyms in New York, bro. The gyms in New York, especially the gym that I went to back in New York and Queens, it was so small. I love it. Don't get me wrong. Like I started making friends there right when I was about to leave, inconveniently, but it's so tiny and it will be so congested. It'll be like a million people. You would literally have to wait like 10 minutes to get a machine, bro. That shit used to blow mine, especially for the there was only two benches. So you have to wait like a half hour to get the bench. Whereas in the gym I go to now, it's even if it sometimes it gets packed, but I'm never waiting. I wait at most like 2 minutes. I'm not no exaggeration. The benches is like fucking 8 benches, you know? So I can find somewhere to bench, no problem. They have different variations of benches. They have incline bench, decline bench. And there's so many different gym equipment too, like machine wise, that the other gyms didn't offer. So overall, like gymming experience, way better in Philly than it was in New York. I gotta keep it 100 with you. Like to be honest with you, it's been way better in Philly. So that's another thing that's been better in Philly than in New York. One thing that's different, sort of say. Um, Also, you know, the longer I've been here, the more Latinos I started to see. They're just segregated into different parts of Philly. So to break down Philly, basically, City Hall is like in the middle of Philly, essentially. Then you have the east, west, north, south. South, you're going towards like Rittenhouse, which is kind of like their shopping district, if you will. So like a lot of stores are there. That's probably like the busiest street in Philly, to be honest with you. You're going towards like smaller neighborhoods, basically like very Italian based. There are like pockets within South Philly that are very like Latino and have like a lot of like Latin restaurants, if you will. But South Philly goes more suburban essentially. The further you go, the more suburban it gets. But still like very manageable as far as like transit and getting down there as a whole. Then you have East Philly. Yeah, East Philly. Then you have East Philly. East Philly is the boardwalk, as I mentioned. There's not much out there. I'm not gonna lie. Like you have Old City, which is an area that has like a lot of bars, restaurants, pretty historic. But besides that, there's really nothing in East Philly. At least like from what I've seen, it's pretty dead. Not gonna lie. It's not as lively as some of the other places. So there's like one street in Old City that's like is lively or has like a lot of shit going on there. But besides that, it's like some things are pretty spread out and far apart. You have Center City, which I currently lived. I currently still do live, just in a different apartment. And Center City can be busy at times depending on where you are in Center City. So before I was by the Liberty Bell, which literally like 2 blocks away, and it was pretty empty to be honest with you. There wasn't much foot traffic going on there. Now I live closer to City Hall, which is more foot traffic. Still not anything crazy, but it's more foot traffic to be honest. But either way, like it's good. Like it's manageable. Being in New York, bro, walking around in Manhattan, it's so fucking insane. The amount of people that you have to walk around, and it can be overwhelming. And going to New York City again a couple weeks ago, I want to say like 3 weeks ago, really showed me that like, oh shit, like, this is crazy. Like I'm not used to this anymore. Like being in Central Park and seeing literally a million people in there is like crazy. You're not going to see that in Philly. The most crowded you're ever going to see is literally Rittenhouse, which is not even that bad, to be honest with you. Whereas in New York City, bro, anywhere you go is crowded as fuck. Like, I'm no exaggeration. If I'm just like going around Philly for a day, just walking around, I can see the same person probably 2-3 times throughout the entire day. In New York, you're never seeing that, and that's no exaggeration. Like anywhere you go in New York, you see that person, you're probably never seeing that person again. Literally no exaggeration, which is a reason why a lot of people like to tweak in New York and be dickheads, because they're just like, yo, like I'm never gonna see this person again, so like I'm just gonna act how I want to act, which I guess is a good or bad thing, depending on who you ask. So That's one thing that was very different in comparison to New York and Philly as far as like the overall foot traffic and how congested everything is. But yeah, Center City, it's especially on Market Street, there's a lot of stores and stuff, so it can get busy. But besides that, you have Love Park, City Hall, so there's a lot more foot traffic there than usual, but it's not anything that's unmanageable. Once you get towards the west side of Philly, west side of Philly is still relatively pretty good. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's they have like a lot of like luxury apartments and that kind of stuff, but it's pretty like I guess I would say from what I've seen, the west side of Philly looked a little more modern. And going to the west side of Philly, you have like the colleges. So you have Drexel, you have Penn University, which Penn University's like campus, or like like recreational fields are amazing. Like I play soccer at Penn Park like all the fucking time. Literally, I was playing there yesterday. Scored 3 goals, 2 assists. Shout out to your fucking boy. But yeah, it's a pretty cool area. It starts to die down a little bit, to be honest with you, like the further you go in the west side of Philly. But for the most part, it's remotely pretty chill and gets more suburban the more you go west. Then you have the north side of Philly, which, fuck, bro, yo, the north side is so bad, bro. Like, it's crazy because if you stay center or you go left or you go right or you go south, you're good for the most part, Like maybe there's a pockets here and there, but like for the most part, you're fine. Like most of those neighborhoods are fine. As soon as you go north, if you're in Center City, you go north like 2-3 blocks. If you go past Chinatown, you're fucked. Literally, like it's so ghetto, bro. Like it's so and it's all of the north. It's literally the entire north side of Philly that's ghetto as fuck. Like if once you go further north, you go northeast and northwest, it's still ghetto as fuck. It doesn't matter where you go, which is insane. So literally, if you're coming to Philly, you're visiting Philly for the first time, don't go to North Philly. Literally, there is nothing there for you. Nothing there. No exaggeration. Maybe if you go to like Temple University, you got to go to Temple University, which is in the north side of Philly, so cool, go there. But besides that, bro, literally nothing to do there. I mean, you have Fishtown and Northern Liberty, so that's like northeast. Northeast Philly, you have Northern Liberties, Fishtown right above it. Northern Liberties, really cool, gives me a Brooklyn vibe. Same thing with Fishtown, gives me a Brooklyn vibe. A lot of like hipsters live in Fishtown. So I would say Northern Liberties reminds me of more like Greenpoint, Brooklyn, whereas in Fish Point reminds me more of like Bushwick, Brooklyn. So if you're familiar with Brooklyn culture, that's like the comparison there. So those two areas are cool, but they're so far removed from the center of the city that people who like live in Fishtown, live in Northern Liberties, they don't go anywhere else. And even within those neighborhoods, there's like a lot to do. Like there's a lot to do. Like I was actually about to live in Northern Liberties at one point when I was first looking around in Philly. So there's a lot to do in that area, but you're never leaving that area because it's so far to go fucking back into the center of the city. But those areas are pretty cool, to be honest with you. So if you're going to go anywhere north, go there. But north, you also have Fairmount, which is like Fairmount's super Puerto Rican, which I drove through, and there's actually a Puerto Rican, I'm blanking out on the word, museum that's there. So I want to check that out, actually, like for Puerto Rican history. But yo, the area is so bad, man. Again, like I'm familiar with bad areas. I grew up in not the nicest areas. And it's like, Fairmount just looks so run down, dude. Like the houses look run down. Everything just looks run down. They have like metal palm trees, which is actually pretty cool and pretty charming. But it's just a ghetto ass area, bro. And I just wonder, like, how did this come to be? Like, why is this area and this neighborhood look like this? Like, what led to this? And of course, a lot of it's going to be like social economics, but I'm curious to know the history of Fairmount and why it just looks so fucking bad. So that's northeast Philly. You also have Kensington, which is right next to that as well. Kensington is like basically Skid Row of Philly. So a lot of the homeless that are within Philly are going to be in Kensington. There are a few that's within Center City, I'm going to be honest with you, but not that many. Like not in comparison to New York. Like it's probably like in all of Center City, you probably have like 15 homeless, literally 15, 20 homeless at most. So you're not seeing them that often. But and they start apparently from what my brother told me, they started to migrate down to Center City like the past couple of years right before I came. Before they all just stayed in Kensington, they should all just go back to Kensington. I'm going to be entirely honest with you. But yeah, that's Philly Skid Row. There's no reason for you to go there. I've never been there. I never plan on going. Apparently, they have like a lot of good restaurants there as well, which is ironic. But I don't plan on checking any of those restaurants out. Fuck that neighborhood. Um, then you have Strawberry Mansions, which is on the west side, so the northwest side of Philly. Also ghetto as fuck, you know? Like I remember I had to play a soccer game up there, which I took the bus. Should have took an Uber, but I took the bus up there, right? So I'm bussing it up to fucking because the literally the bus would drop you off right in front of the park that I had to play soccer at. So and it was a scheduled game, so I gotta go. So I'm going up there, and at first when you're going up, it's not too bad. You're like, oh, you know, the area, these houses aren't too bad. It's a relatively nice looking neighborhood, and I'm not even kidding you. The drop of a dime from one street to the next is just ghetto-ness as far as the eye can see. Ghetto-ness, you know, rundown homes, rundown apartment buildings, just as far as the eye can see, bro. It was bad, man. It was not cute whatsoever. Like, I was looking at it and I'm like, yo, this shit is bad, son. I was praying that, like, yo, at my stop, please, just let me fucking, like, let it not be a bad area. And it dropped me off right in the middle of a bad area. But thank God the park was right across the street, so I was good. But literally, man, like, Strawberry Mansions is not a cute neighborhood whatsoever. Just all of North Philly is just not great, to be honest. I mean, if you go North Philly, if you go deep North Philly, like if you're going like 30 minutes out, then it gets suburban, literally. So like there's a threshold. So you have Center City, North Philly, deep North Philly, super suburban, not bad. Relatively, the neighborhoods are pretty good, but like that area in between, bro, it's rough, man, really rough. And here's the thing, bro. Every city's like that. New York has neighborhoods like that, you know? I don't think we have as many neighborhoods like that anymore, to be honest with you, with gentrification and everything. I think most of those bad neighborhoods are residing in the Bronx, but New York has neighborhoods like that. So every city has that component. There's no city that's perfect. Every city is going to have bad neighborhoods. You just got to know when you're traveling to a city where you should be, where you should not be. As someone who's moved to Philly for the past year, don't go North Philly if you're going to come here. Stay center. You can go on the west side. You can go to the east side. You can even go south. But, yo, just don't go north, man. Like, literally where City Hall is, don't go any north than City Hall. No exaggeration. Like, don't go any north than City Hall. You can go maybe like a block or two north. You're pushing it at that point. Just don't stay around there. But no, besides that, Philly's been pretty cool, man. A lot of soccer, a lot of games. The bar scene's actually pretty cool as well. You know, I mean, you can't compare it to New York, of course, but like some of the bars in Philly are pretty cool. Um, the God, there was something else I was gonna bring up that just blanked in my mind just now. What was it? Oh my God, it was the bar scene, the food scene. There were the restaurant scene. The restaurant scene's also not bad. Again, it's not on the level of New York, but the food in Philly is not that bad, man. I mean, depends on where you're trying to get. Latin food in Philly, it's ass. I mean, but you know, especially like the Mexican food, Philly's ass. But like the Mexican food in New York is ass too. So there's not much of a difference there, you know. I haven't really tried the other cuisines. I mean, I had Venezuelan food in Philly, which was the same as New York, to be honest with you. The pizza in Philly is garbage. Yo, the pizza in Philly is so fucking garbage, bro. And I'm a born and raised New Yorker. Like, I would eat pizza at least once a week growing up. Most of the time, several times a week growing up. No exaggeration. So pizza is literally in my bloodstream at this point. So I love pizza. Like, pizza is probably the one thing I can eat nonstop. Like, it's just like, it's such a staple in New York. It's just us. But the pizza here is garbage. It's so bad. Like, dude, it's so fucking bad. It tastes horrendous. Like, it's like dollar pizza in New York City is better than fucking the best slice you can find in Philly, and I'm not exaggerating. It's because the water is different. Like the water in New York, it just makes the pizza that much better. It's like a known thing. But if you're trying to look for pizza, Philly ain't the place for that. But if you want like a cheesesteak or something like that, then Philly is the place for that. So the food scene overall is pretty good as well. And honestly, man, it's a pretty dope city to live in. It's relatively cheap in comparison to New York. Honestly, like it's you still have that big city feel, you know. So you can walk around the city, you still feel like you're in a city, but it's manageable. It's not overwhelming like New York, and it's a convenient location. You're an hour and a half away from New York by train most. You're an hour and a half away to DC by train at most. Um, so you're like in the middle ground between two major cities, which is pretty cool. So that's another reason why possibly like living in Philly might be convenient to someone. But nah, man, it's been a journey. It's been cool. I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. To be honest, I'm actually like really enjoying it here. And yeah, will I ever go back to New York? Honestly, I don't think so. I don't think I would ever go back to New York or live in New York. Maybe if I'm like filthy rich, like filthy, filthy, filthy rich, I would possibly move back to New York. But bro, New York is so expensive, man. Not only that, bro, it's so crowded, so congested. The apartments are garbage in New York. Like unless you're paying $4,000 for rent, which is in fucking insane. How can anyone afford that? But like $4,000 in rent in New York, those are the only times you're gonna get good apartments. If you're paying anything less than that, you're not getting a good apartment. It's gonna suck. It's gonna be ass. And New York landlords are the worst. They don't give a shit about anything. Like there's memes about New York landlords painting over roaches, like on the wall, like it's just painted over. You didn't even remove it, just paint it over. So New York at this moment, unfortunately, is not worth it. And again, I always loved New York. I always loved the neighborhood that I just previously lived at, which is Sunnyside. I have a painting of Sunnyside on my wall right now. Um, so I would always love it, man, and always be home. But it got to a point where I was just like, yeah, like I wanted to change, you know? Like I've been in the same place for so long. Literally my whole life, and it's time for me to go. There's no reason for me to stay here anymore. Literally, there's no reason there's nothing tying me down here anymore, which was the case. So honestly, I'm happy I left. I'm definitely going to stay here for the next couple years. I don't know what's to come after that. We'll see when we get there. But overall, it's been pretty fun living here. Um, but yeah, that is the episode. That's been my review on Philly for the past year. Definitely next year, this time around, I'll do a second episode on like how was the second year in Philly. Hopefully better than the first year, so we'll see. You know, I'm gonna try to do more shit, more different activities in Philly. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.